with Take Your Life Back.
And this is Coach Leanne with Grit and Grace.
Welcome to our weekly show, Take Your Life Back with Grit and Grace. And we are here today and we are going to talk about the importance of vision boards and visualization. And for those of you who have never done a vision board before, I have some great tips to share with you. And for those of you who feel like the concept of visualization and vision boards all sounds a little hokey, woo-woo, weird, we're going to kind of get into that. And kind of talk about our vision boards. So I've brought my vision board that I'm going to share with you tonight. And I think Coach Leanne has hers.
I do.
Super exciting. So now for me, I don't know about you, but for me, this is the first time I've ever done a vision board.
No, I've done them in the past. I just have never really gone back to look to see if what I put on my board has manifested. And I also have not had it up in front of my face the entire time, like I have this one. So it's this is very different indeed.
Yeah. I think it's funny that we both chose. So I want to start with kind of what is a vision board, right? It can be something of several different mediums. So it could be I've seen people make it on the wallpaper of their phone. I've seen people put it on the wallpaper for their desktop. You can make it electronic. It can be something that you put in the front of your journal or your planner that you look at every day. I know that Leanne's got one on like a poster board. I've made one on a large bulletin board. There's a million ways for you to make it. There is something to be said with regards to physically touching and creating the vision board and that connection between the brain and doing something physical as you're creating that vision board, and then having something physical that you can touch and feel. And of course, you want it in front of you on a regular basis. So, while I'm not going to say that electronic vision boards are not of value, because that's not true. They can very much be of value. I would encourage that you do consider taking the time to really touch and feel and use your imagination and create something, get to that creative side of your brain when you're working on your vision.
Right. And I would add that don't think that you need to go and get, I'm looking for the website. Don't think you need to go and get 12,000 different magazines, because you don't need to. There are plenty, and I mean plenty, of websites that you can go to. Pexels is one, so pexels.com. And I can't find the link for the other one that I use. But Pexels has a ton of free pictures that you can, here it is, that you can use to create your vision board. You can print them and cut them and style them however you want. And if you want to make an electronic vision board, you can do that as well using these pictures. Just copy and paste, copy and paste. When making my vision board, yes, I can confidently say no magazines were hurt in the making of my vision board. None. Everything is like, if you see a picture on Facebook or Instagram or one of those places and you want it, download it, print it, cut it out. Because where Jen said she has a big bulletin board, what I did this week, and I'm starting to do it, I'll have to grab it, is I have a little bulletin board for short-term goals, and we'll get into that in just a minute.
Oh, yes. So there's many ways in which you can organize your board. You do want to maybe put some thought into it ahead of time. I would, if you're a first timer and this is your first time ever diving into a vision board or trying to dive into visualization or manifesting or any of that, I would caution you to maybe not go down the rabbit hole of Pinterest, like,
Yeah.
or some of those others. I can tell you that when you start, Googling vision boards and you start getting into it, there is so much information out there. You get into this rabbit hole and it almost becomes overwhelming to where you end up just not even doing it. I do have some, I have questions that I like to journal about. I like to use some of those questions if you're needing help kind of thinking through how you want your vision board to look for the year. I encourage that you do, again, think of it like goals. You make SMART goals, and those SMART goals, part of what that stands for is that there's a time that's captured in a goal. So I think for vision boards, you can create one that you may consider, like Leanne's talking about, a short-term vision, or I made mine for a year. I kind of saw it out for the next year. Um, and kind of try and capture, well, what do I want to see in what amount of time, and you can work through them in that fashion. You don't have to. You could have a long-term board and a short-term board. You can do it a million ways, but that's why I'm cautioning you to not go down the rabbit hole, because you're going to go down it and there's going to be a million different ways, and there's a million different worksheets to help you gather your thoughts ahead of time. There's so much out there. I would say if you're a first timer, keep it simple. Keep it simple and have fun.
And in that simplicity, if you're not a journaler, I am not a consistent journaler. I am like in the coach's hall of hell for consistent journaling. But I know what I want. And you can take that vision, like, I want a horse. I want a horse that's mine, that I am responsible for, that I feed, that I want that. So I have taken the opportunity to have some pictures of horses on here. If you are in the market for buying a house, you want your dream house, find a picture on Pixabay, Pixa. Hold on, let me get that. Pixabay.com or Pexels, Pexels.com. They have a ton of free pictures. Just go in there and search the picture that you want, pull up the one that you want, print it. If you have a real estate listing for a house that you want, print it off and put it on your vision board. And those are two giant purchases. You can also do things like reminding yourself to dream big and have trust in yourself. That also goes on the vision board. And it's just one of those things that you just keep working at, and it will change throughout the year. Mine did.
Oh, for sure. It will definitely change. And I think that's the other thing. When I created mine, I remember I had put it together and then I was like, oh, I think I put it together wrong. I need to change the order. I need to reorganize it. It's not organized the way I saw, people advise. And then I started to become overwhelmed with the perfectionism of the vision board, that I was losing sight of what I was trying to do. What you're really trying to do is have a vision of your future self and what your future life, what you would like for that to look like, and have that presented to you so that your brain is connecting that vision on a regular daily basis, because having that connection to your overall vision for your future self is what's going to help you continue to stay in alignment with where you're trying to get.
And I will caution you that if you put your dream house or buying a horse, in my case, or whatever, on your vision board and it doesn't happen in 2021, you know what? That's cool, because you can take those pictures and you can move them to 2022.
Mm-hmm.
It
Exactly.
it's just keeping the goal in front of your face. And that's the goal of the vision board, is to make sure that your vision is visual. So let's talk about visualization for just a minute. Most Now, Jen and I are about the least woo-woo coaches you will ever run into in your life, because of our technical backgrounds. We're both very process oriented. We're both very this is the way you do things oriented. So we are probably the least woo-woo people you will ever run into in the coaching industry. But I will admit, sometimes I have a hard time keeping that vision and that visualization. So, to tell me to meditate on it, you go spit in the wind, because that's about as far as it's going to get. However, if I take a moment in my busy day and just take a breath and just look at my vision board and say, oh, I'm using the horse example again. Feel myself riding the horse, feel myself grooming the horse, even shoveling poop. If I just feel it, and it doesn't have to be like a half hour, it could be 30 seconds, but it reminds me of why I am working this business so hard. Another visualization that I do is retiring my husband, and to see how excited he is when he walks in and flings that resignation on someone's desk and says, I'm going home and I'm going to be IT for my wife, which he will never do because he hates IT, blah, 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 blah. But, to work in my business as a business partner, or actually it would be an employee because there's no partnering. I take a moment and I just think, this is why I'm doing this. Even on the crappy days, why are you doing this? I'm doing this for a horse. I'm doing this to retire my husband. I'm doing this for my dream job. And you just keep that vision in front of you. And you do that with a vision board.
Yep. Absolutely. And I think, no, you said it so well, in the sense that you're not even necessarily looking for this exact thing is what has to come true this year. It could be that because it sat in front of you for so long, you suddenly saw opportunities that could get you a step closer. And it's difficult to see those opportunities when you aren't staying in alignment with your vision. And so that's why I stress so much to have that vision board someplace you can regularly see it. I see so many people say, well, yes, I made a vision board and it's kind of over in the corner, or I made a vision board and then I folded it up really nice and put it in my planner. So it's always right in my planner. Like, well, it's not doing much good there, is it?
Great, you did a craft project. Aren't you proud? No, this is a tool, y'all. This is a tool.
This is a tool. Yeah.
And from where you are to where you want to be. And that is the whole idea. I folded it cute in my planner.
Well, I think one of our coach friends said that this weekend. I said, "Where's your vision board?" And she's like, "Oh, well, it's folded up inside my planner so I can get to it anytime I want." Well,
you need to put it on the wall in front of you, or on your ring light, or somehow on your monitor, somewhere where you can see it.
yeah.
No, I have a paper planner as well as using my phone, and this is what it looks like, y'all. I can't find the camera. I always have it open to the week that I'm using it, maybe to the month, but always to the week. And I'm telling you right now, if I folded up my vision board and put it in here, I'd never see it. I'd never see
it. No.
I want to see
even me. I've got like my little notebook. I mean, yeah, I've got it open to where and
The
I think
next
I have, yeah, no.
one.
So yeah, that's a big so for me, this was my first time doing a vision board, and I wanted the whole experience of getting together with a friend and spending a Saturday or whatever. Excuse me. I had posted on Facebook, just, hey, anybody got some old magazines they want to get rid of? You can also go to your local library. They will give them to you. There's so many places will literally be like, take this, please.
I had no idea.
Yeah. So I gathered, I mean, I have actually, they're all stored in my office so that I can hold some more workshops, some vision board workshops. But I have stacks and stacks and stacks of magazines now. And people were just like, here you go. Um,
That's pretty.
yeah. So because I wanted that whole experience of, I want to open something up and be like, is this a vision of something I could see myself? Yes or no? And I could flip through it. And I had the, you're talking with friends and you're making something, you're being creative. Um, and I kind of wanted that whole experience. And so that was the route that I went, and it took me a little bit of time. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. We were joking that because we used those little craft scissors that makes the shapes when you cut
Yeah.
them out, like our hands were cramping as because we were like cutting so much. Yeah. Anyways, so but I mean, it was fun and it was an experience, and yeah, I started. So once I threw it all up on a bulletin board, and then I was like, oh, this isn't really right. I think this is supposed to be in a certain order, blah, blah, blah. And even my coach was like, okay, I think you need to, it looks good, but I think you need to reorder them and this and that. And the thought of all of that just overwhelmed me, where I was like, I don't know. And I was like, you know what? I'm leaving it. I put it up here. Each one of these pictures represents a vision of what I'd like to see for myself or see myself doing or whatever. It's, it's fine, and I set it in my office, kind of like behind my computer, and but facing me. And there were times throughout the year when I looked at it and I said, is this really the vision? Am I sure? Is this, I mean, I experienced times where I was like, I don't even know if that's what I want, because I was struggling to see it. I was struggling to see it.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden opportunities just started popping up, and I hadn't, as the opportunities popped up and I said yes, it hadn't really occurred to me that these were opportunities getting me closer to the things on my vision board. I just knew that they kind of popped up, and I was like, well, my goal is to say yes to things and just take chances and do more. And so yes. And then it was like later in the summer that I was looking up one day and I was really staring at my vision board, and I said, I have done almost every single thing on there. And I didn't see that coming together, but I look at it every day. I look at it and I'm like, yeah, yeah, I said I would do that. I said I would do that. And it hadn't clicked. I am doing it because it's in front of me, in my brain, reminding me every day, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? What are you trying to get to? Um, so yeah, super exciting. Super
That
exciting.
is exciting. Now, I would ask you, I wish I wrote down my question, but I would ask you, is your vision board, because you just said it wasn't ordered in any particular way, is it more valuable to you? Um, would it be as valuable if you had reordered it?
Maybe. I'd like to think that my brain just doesn't work that way, right? Like, I'm not a big, some people are like, I have to have a list. It has to be a checklist. I have to check the checklist in order, and every part of that list has to get checked. And, there are some people whose brains are just, I'm not. I have 20 different to do lists scattered across the entire house. I might have one thing checked on one, and I might have some of the same items listed on the to do list that's in the other room. And I mean, I just don't function that way. And so for me, it really didn't matter if I saw it at the top of the board or the middle of the board or the bottom of the, like,
It's just going to happen.
yeah.
So you had I'm assuming people in your home while you were putting together vision boards. That's what it sounds like. So I did mine virtual because that's how we roll now. We do everything virtual. Good God. Anyway, and if you were closer, I'd be at your house doing my vision board. But we did ours virtual, and one of our coaching friends got together with a bunch of us, and we had people from Western Virginia. We had me in, I guess they call this Central Virginia. I don't know why it's not in the center, but me in Richmond, up there in Nova, and I think there was somebody from out of state. But we got together early in January, and we put together these vision. The thing that I found interesting is that some of the people were cutting up magazines, but me, I'm about, let's get this done lickety split.
No, did I freeze? I did. Hold on. Oh no, please stay tuned. We are frozen for a brief moment in time. I do always love the way that the internet works. It always chooses the most interesting moments to freeze. Just, your most precious moments. Okay, I think I am still connected. So while we're waiting for Coach Leanne, we gotta love technology. I think what she's saying is so true. You're not tied down to just one way of creating a vision board. It can be created, obviously online. If you want something quick and you want to be able to just do a quick Google search of an image, you can definitely do that. That it's really just a matter of preference. You can do your Google searches, download the images and print them. You can do your Google searches and choose to. Yay! I was just talking what I think what you were kind of getting to was that there are so many ways of finding the images that you want, and you don't have to do it on paper.
Yeah. No. And that, you're exactly right. That's what I was getting at. Search what you want. Boom, 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 boom. There. Oh, look, there's like 4 pictures of the same thing. You just get one of the pictures that you love, print that baby, cut it out. When I say no magazines were harmed in the making of my vision board, I mean it because I don't have patience. Since we were all on a Zoom call, we didn't really have the time. I'm guessing that when you did yours, y'all were kind of hanging out, having a couple drinks, and having some fun with it, right?
Right. We did brunch. And so we were eating and we did mimosas and then we cut up magazines.
Perfect, right? We did not. We had I think we were on the Zoom for 2 hours. And because we were in our own homes, we were so segregated, I guess, that, if person A had magazines, that's what they did. I was person L, and I just printed and cut and paste. I mean, I didn't even use paste. I used tape. So that's all the construction of the vision boards. Let's talk about what we've actually accomplished on them.
Yay! Let's do it.
Okay. You go first.
Let me see if I can bring mine up here. Give me 1 second. It is a taller, and by the way, this was super cost effective. I had a coupon for Hobby Lobby, one of those 50% off coupons.
Love
and so,
Hobby Lobby.
I know, right? And so I got like this huge, massive bulletin board for like $14. And so, I mean, it really just worked itself out. Hold on, there we go. Okay, so I did a mixture of pictures and words. Like maybe they were words that just stuck out to me. And let me see if I can get. There we go. And And again, I didn't really know, it was my first time. And so this is why I encourage you. It may take a couple boards for you to figure out what you want to do. I knew as I started going through the magazines, one of the things that I figured out that I knew very quickly, very early on, when I was going through some of the magazines, some of them were like Women's Day or cooking magazines. Those are awesome. They have amazing pictures, gorgeous pictures, amazing recipes. But I already knew my future self um, is no longer obsessed with food. My life no longer revolves around food. Food is now my fuel. It is not my life. So I didn't there was a few times like I cut out some pictures of some recipes or some food, and then I decided I don't want that on my board because it's no longer my life. My life is no longer about food. Yeah.
The beauty of these vision boards, you can decide what you put on them. So as Jen was saying, if your life no longer revolves around food, just like it took me a lot longer, but my life does not revolve around food. It revolves around my eating schedule, but it does not revolve around food. And that's the
Right.
beauty of it. If you're like, I want to lose weight, then don't put food on your vision board. That's all there is to it.
Right. Don't just put like a picture of a scale. That was my other important thing. I did pictures of activities that I wanted to do. I did words that meant something to me. I um yeah. So that was kind of it's all kind of intertwined. And so some of the words, it was like be fearless, I'm not always the biggest risk taker. I also had something on here that was a little bit of my old story that I was trying to rewrite. So you guys can't see it, but on here it says, the first little quote says, I've lost 100 pounds. That's true. But then the second part of that, which is the part that I wanted to start living, was, and I'm learning how to love my body. And so that meant more to me. I wanted to take that. Yes, I have this story, but this has now been my story for a couple years. I lost the weight. Well, that's cool, but now what? And I wanted the second part to say, and now I'm learning to love my body where I'm at. So I really focused, like if I was going to put words, what I wanted it to say. I don't even know what this. I'm giving myself an upgrade. And so some of these I really want you guys to keep in mind when we're saying that, they might not all come true, or it might not look how you expect to look. Let's use this one. So this is a lady kayaking in probably a lake or river, whatever. My son and I did this last May. So my son and I last summer, we went kayaking at Table Rock.
Nice.
So my picture doesn't look exactly like this, but I had never been kayaking and I wanted to go kayaking, and I did it. Then I've got a picture of these are people. You can't really see it, but they're on big floaties. They're like floating down this river. It looks like it's whitewater rafting, but it's not, because these people are just in little tubes.
Oh.
I went on a float trip this summer. I never been on a float trip. I had zero intentions of going on a float trip, but I was asked if I wanted to join a float trip. I was like, oh my God, yeah, that one came true. Then there's a bunch of stuff about hiking. I have a picture of a hike right there. And then over here, people are hiking. I've gone on a couple hiking trips this last summer. My son and I, when we went to Table Rock, we went hiking as well. And just like each one of these in some different fashion has come true. There's a girl doing pull-ups on here, and a girl trying to climb up rock, and a girl pushing a weight sled. And this was the part that I started to question earlier in the year. I didn't really feel like I wasn't seeing any changes on the scale. I didn't necessarily feel like I was getting stronger. And I wasn't at a gym where we had the facilities to do a weight sled or pull-ups or anything like that. All of a sudden, out of an opportunity, one of my clients asked me to go with her to her gym, and come to find out that not only did they have cardio kickboxing, they have an advanced class where I can do weight training, and one of personalized weight training and what they call peak performance, where I'm learning how to do what? pull-ups, right? So that opportunity presented itself in March. While I didn't see it at the time, they offered the program to me, and they're like, we really think you're ready for this next step. And of course I'm like, well, my goal is to say yes this year. And so I said yes. I didn't connect the two, that on my vision board I had the weight training, the pull-ups, the whole bit in front of me, that this was what I wanted, and the opportunity presented itself. Can I do a pull up 100% on my own yet? No, I'm still using one of the damn straps, but it's still an improvement. On day one of that training, I had to use 2 straps and I did 0 pull ups. I'm now doing 1 strap and I can do 5 pull ups. So, like,
Awesome.
it's progress. Tonight, I know I was just posting, we did a push up challenge today at the gym. And never in my life did I think I'd be able to do this. I did 375 push ups today.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So the strength part of this that I started to question at one point, it was happening, and I didn't piece it together. There's a picture down here of me sitting in a pool, relaxing with drinks. I have a friend who belongs to a pool club, and I've done that. Actually, I went to a massive pool party with lots of charity donations this summer that I got to be a part of. So that happened. The beach,
And it's going to happen again in 2 weeks. I'm just
going
going
to
to
happen again in 2 weeks. The beach in 2 weeks, we will be there. I've got 2 or 3 pictures of the beach. So then here's a couple of the things that didn't necessarily 100% come true that I want to speak to, though. So there's a picture, you can't really see it, but there's a picture of a camper van and a picture of a very small camper. And as Coach Leanne can tell you, well, I put these on here last May. I put these on here because they looked cute, and I thought, man, that just looks like something I'd be interested in. And this last year, I have actually spent a decent amount of time. I have found several women's traveling groups, several women's camper groups, specifically van campers.
Wow.
That I went and joined these groups. So, like, this is cool. I totally forgot I had this on my vision board that I stare at every day. And I'm really trying to figure out how to make that come to fruition. It's every single piece on here in some fashion. When I say I'm learning to love my body, I wore a swimsuit for the first time this summer. Even though I lost this 100 pounds a couple years ago, the last 2 summers, I still wore shorts and a t-shirt. And this summer I was like, screw that. And I wore a bikini. And it's like every piece of this in some fashion came to fruition because I've continued to have this in front of me and continued to stare at this and make sure that I'm staying in alignment with what I'm truly trying to do. Leave a legacy of love is what this little quote over here says. I don't think you guys can see it. It's been really important to me that I'm not just working. I've taken a lot more PTO this year, and I've done a lot more with my kid. And during his senior year of high school this year, and one of the things that he said, the reason why he was doing so many more activities is because he said, I feel like you're just so much more available and you're just here. And again, these were the things that I wanted to achieve, and I stare at it every day, and you start to live it the more that you visualize it and your brain connects with each one of these. So is this in the perfect formal vision board order? No. If you're new to doing a vision board, you've never done it before, and you're like, I don't know what to do, I literally pinned these up. I was tired after cutting out 50 million pictures and I threw them up on this board, but almost every single thing in some fashion has come to fruition here.
That is beautiful. That is so beautiful.
I'm excited to do my next one.
I would be really excited to do your next one.
Yeah.
I think I might just some of those pictures, actually.
You know what I would do? I think for the next one, what I'm noticing about this, yes, these were all a bit of a challenge at the time in which I put them on here. I really didn't think in my mind, oh, I'm going to have an opportunity to pull up this year. I'm going to have an opportunity at the beach this year. I really didn't think some of these would be actual opportunities. So I would encourage, if I were coaching me, to stretch a little in the next vision board and to have something bigger on here. And I might even make sure that some of these quotes or words are something slightly more specific. So, like this one says, I will manifest the checking account I was meant to have. I might put a number to that.
Yeah, I would. I would totally put a number to that.
And take some of these and stretch them to the next level.
Yeah. But for a first time, that
Yeah.
is just beautiful. I love it. Love everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Super exciting. Okay. I'd love to see yours.
Okay, so here's mine. So I did mine. It's not on a bulletin board. It's on a piece of poster board, and it's bright pink. I don't know why. I just liked it, so I grabbed it. Okay.
Well, I do like that it's bright. I think it grabs your attention.
Yeah, and it lives on the wall that I look at, because what you can't see is I have a mirror in front of me and a wall. Obviously there's a wall there because there's a mirror on there. And I just put it up, and the way I sit at my table, because I don't have a desk, because I don't like desks. This should give you an insight to my mind. I don't like desks. So I have a table, and I have a lot of crap on it, but it is my workspace and I love it. So much like Jen, I have pictures of words. You got this. Trust. And breathe. Dream big. What's that one say? Oh, determination. And adventure often, love constantly. And all these words really mean a lot to me. Let intuition guide you. You are what you've been looking for. So this year for me has been a lot of growth, because I have been in this space of not trusting myself, not loving on myself like I needed to, right? And I decided this year that I was going to cut ties from my old self and just trust and just remind myself to breathe, dream bigger, and work with determination. And because of that, there's lots of money here. This is my bank account that I'm looking at all the time. I need to find ones that aren't $1 bills. I need to find some $100 bills. I just realized. I love horses. So this is somebody probably riding barrels, but it gives you the idea of where I want to be. I want to be riding. I want to be out, and I want to be doing things with a horse. And here, I don't know if you can see it, but it's a horse, and it's a girl kissing the horse.
That's the movie.
What movie?
Is it? Is that is that in black and white? Is that the movie with Elizabeth Taylor?
No, that's not Elizabeth Taylor.
Oh, when she was a little girl, you know the movie I'm talking about? Is it Violet or oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's Violet, I think. But no, that's not her.
Okay.
I don't know who that is. But that is something that I just desire. I just desire that relationship with a horse, because horses to me are, some people love their dogs, and I just love horses. So you were speaking of strength.
I see that.
So I have been working with my trainer for 2 years, and I kind of felt like I was getting stuck and I wasn't getting any more strength. And then, wouldn't you know it, he ratcheted it up. So now what I'm doing is I'm hanging from the pull-up bar. I'm still not to the point where I can do a pull-up, because that is one of my goals. I have to steal that picture. I hang and I pull my knees to my chest. Well, now he's added a new thing where my feet go back to the wall. So my feet touch the wall while I'm hanging, and then I pull my knees to my chest. I have gained so much strength in my core and in my legs and in my abdomen. Eric is afraid of me uh, because I have gained so much strength. And I, when I pulled this down yesterday to make a video, I realized that this is happening. It's happening right now. It happened more today. So that I'm very excited about, because when I put that on there, I was just like, oh, hopefully I'll get some strength. This is, you may not be able to see it. It's a picture of a tree growing out of a rock.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the possible out of the impossible. And I have been a bit hard on myself since I started being a coach. I didn't think I could do it. Well, I'm creating the possible out of the impossible. And that is beautiful to me. Um, I'm, I'm, I have the American flag. I'm an unapologetic American. And I'm also a wino. Eric and I love to go to vineyards and taste wine. And that is one of our hobbies. And I had to put that on there. And I have had, in my previous life, I was called a swan, graceful on top, paddling like hell on the bottom. So I just put a picture of the swan on there. And I know that for as much work as I'm doing right now, it will get there. It's almost a symbol of grit and grace. You see the grace on top and the grit with your feet paddling like hell on the bottom.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's the laptop and me working. And then if I didn't find anything else, I have grit and grace, generate future wealth, easily make new connections, trust in self, move to the South, either South Carolina or Florida. It may not happen right away, but we're going back home. And I also put on here that I'm powerful, joyful, and beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you. Because I have had a lifelong struggle with calling myself beautiful and actually recognizing that. And I'm finally over it. And I'm finally like, you know what? I got 2 zits on my chin, but girl, I am gorgeous. And I actually needed to put on more concealer, but whatever. So last week we actually talked about this picture. I found this picture. I loved it, mostly because it looks like a 1940s movie, but I love it. But Jen brought up an interesting point. I have been in a dark energy for a couple of weeks. I think I finally kicked it to the curb. And I was telling her about this picture, and she said, "Oh my God, that's your dark energy. You're hiding from it. This picture manifested dark energy and how you handled it."
Yeah.
And I'll be buggered if she isn't right. I can see that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I, like Jen, I have manifested a lot of things that are on this.
For sure.
Yeah. The horse thing still eludes me a little bit, but the rest of it, we're back to going to vineyards. I am dreaming big. I'm getting stronger. Oh, there it is. I told the dark energy to piss off, and I'm working. I just got my stand-up desk today, so I'm super excited about it. Right there. So it's going to make the work day easier because I'm going to be able to stand up instead of sitting in this blasted chair all day. So that is my vision board. It's short, sweet, and to the point. Like I said, there's not a whole lot of woo on here. It just is what it is. I mean, I'm holding it up by tape, for goodness sake. And when we're done with this, I'm going to go slap it back up on the wall. The one thing that I have done quickly is I had a French bulletin board. And that's the one with the ribbon across and the buttons on it and everything like that. I have had this thing for God years. I think I bought it when I first moved to South Carolina in 2005. But I finally opened it and decided what I was going to use it for. I'm going to use that board for short-term goals and sayings that really mean something to me. And what those short-term goals and those sayings may end up being is on my vision board next year. I don't know. But for right now, it is again right in front of my face. I can see it every single day. And, it doesn't mean short term to me means 3 to 6 months.
Right.
And if it doesn't move 3 to 6 months, I might put it on yield board here. But you got to start somewhere. And if that's how you start, you're just collecting things that speak to your heart and soul, then I would suggest doing that. There is no one way to do it, but I will tell you that if you do it and you look back, you will see progress in where you are going. Now, I want to do a pull-up, and I've told Jason that. I've said, dude, I'm going to do a pull-up. He goes, it's all about balance. We'll get you there. I'm like, nah. And he's getting me there. My little Popeye arms are burning tonight because, I was literally hanging around this morning with him. And I'm going to get there. I hope by the end of the year I get there. So, yeah. But I, like you, I'm not putting food up there. I'm not putting recipes up there. That stuff is all cute, but it goes in my recipe books.
Yeah. So I think then we both have the same goal, where we could stretch ourselves and focus more on our future self on our vision boards as opposed to who we are or what our current story is. Because I think both of us did do a little bit of that. And then we didn't necessarily stretch ourselves just that little bit. And that's hard to do, right? So I think it's kind of a good example to see that, hey, the coaches aren't perfect either. But that's why we surround ourselves with other coaches, to make sure that we are keeping ourselves challenged and stretched that little bit, and creating that little sense of discomfort, so that we can grow, because from the discomfort comes the growth.
Right. And the accountability. So
Yes.
if I start acting all dark and gloomy, Jen can, basically look at me and say, really?
Did you get rid of that picture?
Did you do that picture again? Because, you really need to get rid of that. Or, when she hops up and down and tells me how she's done an actual pull-up without straps. This is a new concept. I don't know what the strap thing is, but,
the bungee straps.
Mm-mm.
There's like these big bungee, I'm calling them straps. It's not really a strap. It's a okay, so you like the band. Sorry, it's a band. Like the stretch bands.
Yeah.
So they make bigger bands to assist you with pull up.
Oh, okay.
So you attach the band to the pull up bar, and then you slip your foot into the band.
Oh, okay. All right.
You bungee back up.
Okay.
So at first I needed two thick bands on one foot to keep me, and so now I'm down to just the one thinner band. And of course the goal is eventually I make it to where I don't need a band, but
right. Okay. Now I get it. I forget where I was going, but the day that she does that pull up, we will celebrate, because we will have held each other accountable, and we will have reached our goals.
yes, all of that. Well, and just like you with the horse, I mean, that's huge, So I think there's ones that we can move over, and then I find it interesting that I feel like we both maybe kind of caught ourselves in a sense that, so like the girl hiding from the dark is kind of the old you.
Mm-hmm.
but when we're talking about the importance of having something visual and in front of you, you've kept that kind of in your eye space, and so that could be blocking you from that future state you're trying to get to. And for me, the same thing. Like I'm like, oh, I'm going to manifest this checking account, but I haven't said what that looks like.
Yeah. And my checking account manifestation is all $1 bills. We need to make
Right? Like
actually
we
right.
gotta.
And that's what we mean by this is an iterative process. You can't just walk out and go, yeah, I'm a badass. I just do this. It's good. Because it's not. You have to learn and grow and develop with this exercise, because that's all it is. It's an exercise to keep your goals top of mind. Now, you think I'm going to replace it with $100 or $100 bills in a pile? Oh yeah, because I want a Scrooge McDuck in my bank account. I'm not even.
That's the picture. That's the picture.
Right. I'm not a duck, but you get the idea. I want a Scrooge McDuck into that bank account, and think about all of the good that can come from that money and all of the good that I can do for my community, my family, my whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the $1 need to change a lot.
Yeah. No, I think this is a great exercise. I'm excited. I need to redo mine because I did mine in the summer.
Yeah, it's been
And
about 12
so, yeah, it's past time for me to redo it. And so I'm excited. I get to do that. I get to visualize. So now that I've seen the evidence, because I was kind of a non-believer, like, why do a vision board? Like, I mean, it sounds cool and fun. The activity sounded fun to me,
Mhm.
but I still was like, and then what?
Yeah.
Like, but I didn't quite, now that I've seen the fruition, you start to recognize the opportunities that you would not have otherwise recognized or said yes to when they come your way, if you're not visioning what that future state looks like. So
Right.
yeah.
And one of the things I caught with yours is that your goal this year was to say yes more.
Yeah.
That should be on your vision board. But
Yep.
you have something about being bold or better
Yeah,
opportunities.
fearless.
Fearless, be fearless, which is kind of the same thing as saying yes, but it's not exactly the same.
Right. No, but that was my thinking, initially I was like, I'm always fearful to say yes. Um Even though, and it's funny, it plays both ways, right? And then we get scared to say no.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, yes. So I hope everybody kind of enjoyed our little. If you are interested in learning how to do your vision board, I actually do have some worksheets that I offer to my clients, and some really intriguing questions to kind of get the creative juices flowing of what that future state might look like, because there is a bit of a process that you can do, and then hopefully in the coming months, I can start looking at hosting, at least local to me, a workshop. I haven't done a virtual one. We could try that.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's definitely not the same as getting together for brunch and drinking mimosas and then handing you sharp implements to cut paper with. But, you know, yeah, you can totally do that.
Yeah, it's fun. So if you haven't ever tried to do any kind of visualization activities before, this is just one of the, oh my
Gajillion.
gosh,
There's a ton.
infinite amounts, or infinite ways you could visualize. But this is one. But I think I'd like to say I feel like we just proved like it works pretty well.
Yeah, I would say yes.
So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, I think that captures this week's Take Your Life Back with Grit and Grace. So don't forget to go ahead and like and subscribe to our channel if you're liking what you're hearing. And please feel free to reach out to either one of us on Facebook or right here on the YouTube channel. We are now officially both on LinkedIn as well. Woo!
Yes, we are.
So lots of ways to get in touch with us, and of course we can share down in the description of this video. We'll share our contact info. So I'm Coach Jen.
And I'm Coach Leanne, and we're Take Your Life Back with Grit and Grace.
Thanks, guys.